it's time for another monthly Spotify playlist, a playlist of what Annie's been listening to this month.
Hey, I'm Anie, and this is why you should love music.
This month is March Madness. So, if you clicked on this link and were expecting basketball, I'm sorry, you're on the wrong side of the internet. I'm just a weirdo. But you can stay, you're welcome to stay, and we'll talk about music. There's going to be no basketball in this video at all from now on, I'm sorry. So, let me pull up my playlist, and we'll talk about it. First song on the playlist, Fire and Rain by Acceptance. I love that song, I love that band, I love that album. I'm fairly sure we've already talked about this album on the channel, so I'm not going to spend too long on it, but I also wrote about the album and one of the songs on my website, so feel free to go check it out. Man, it's such a good album. Alternative, rock. Album came out 12 years after the band broke up. Such a good album, such an amazing song. Love it. Tell Me What You Need by Clare. I also already talked about this album on my channel, and I also already did an album review. This song is amazing. It's like, so Clare kind of does like some dancey music, but also not really. It's like alternative. It's like the wub dubs, but alternative music with wub dubs in there. And this song is just about like communication, and it's so beautiful and so amazing, like lyrically, and then like musically, it's just so much fun. Also, Clare is Jewish, and so the whole album is like very layered and very nuanced, and so the more you kind of dig into it and sink into it, the more layers that you get to like peel back and uncover, and it's like insanely amazing. This might be one of my favorite tracks on the album. I do not have one favorite track because they're like so varied and so beautiful, but it's wonderful. And if you're interested, feel free to check out my vinyl unboxing that I did on that. Okay, next song, Last Young Renegade by All Time Low. Love it. I'm pretty sure I had an All Time Low song on my last playlist, but I love this one even more than the last song. So apparently, I feel like I've been kind of like going through reliving my punk phase from like middle school. I never had a punk phase, but I listened to a lot of like punk music. I never thought it was punk. I thought it was alternative rock music. But whatever. You are my last young renegade heartache. I love this song is amazing. You probably already love it, but if for some reason you don't know it, you should love it. Part of Me by American Wolves. I found this band, I want to say like, I don't remember if it was Twitter or Instagram, but their bass player like sent me a message or something, and so I checked out the song and I really love it. Again, with like the punk revival, I don't know, I was like really feeling alternative rock, like pretty heavy this month. And this song is really, really good. It's like kind of like a throwback, maybe 90s throwback. A lot of these are probably 90s throwback. Not so much that it lives in the past. It's still new and modern. And I believe they're in the studio right now, just finishing up. I don't know if it's a debut album, but right now, I'm pretty sure this is the only song that they've released, and it's wonderful. With every part of me. It's like an inspirational, like, pick yourself back up type of song, and like, you can do it, and you are your own strength. It's really good. Heathen by Coloring. This came out earlier in the year. I know it's only March, but it came out earlier in the year. It was on, I think it was their Symmetry EP. Not quite sure on that. Actually, it might have come out after that. I do not recall anymore. This is a wonderful song. So this band is a lovely British band, and they're wonderful. It's really cool. It might be sad, but I think it's not sad. I don't know. But it's a really interesting metaphor. Obviously, it's called Heathen. No, it's not a cover of the 21 Pilots song. It's its own original idea. So obviously the word heathen means like an unbeliever, and it's generally termed like in a religious context, or like it kind of like has undertones of being like uncouth or barbaric or like unenlightened. But this kind of takes a lovely twist on the phrase, and it's somebody who doesn't believe in love. And so then he's like, well, am I wrong to believe in us? Like, what? So it's a little sad, but mostly it's also just beautiful. And it's not really that sad. I made it sound sad, but the music makes it sound happy. Guarded by Flor. Could be wrong on this one, but I'm pretty sure they're on the Fueled by Ramen label, which is a wonderful label. And I'm also pretty sure I had one of their songs on one of the last playlists that I did. But again, I love this one even more. So I want to say that this is the first single off their upcoming album, but it's actually the second single off their upcoming album, because when they released Holding On, they released it as a separate single. And then when they released this one, they also made the album announcement, but actually both of those songs are going to be on this album. So I'm really excited because it's shaping up to be a really wonderful album, so keep your eyes on that one. That might be wonderful. But this song is just about what it sounds like, just being guarded emotionally. And it's wonderful too, because I feel like the music is so like open and warm. It's just this lovely juxtaposition happening with the lyrics and the music. And also it's like a bit of an emotional journey as well. I will never give up on you. That's true, but also it's a song by Ford Atlantic. This is a lovely song. I feel like it was introduced to me by my brother, and he was like, you should listen to this because I love it. And I was like, I will listen to it because I love you. And then it was just wonderful all around. So this is like kind of like an alternative a folk alternative song. And it's just like a lovely, fluffy, I will never give up on you song. Not quite so fluffy. Like it's not like I'm gonna vomit because it's so fluffy and like a love song. But it is like a song about unconditional love. And it's very like folk alternative. So you might like it. Under Our Feet by Francis. This album is insanely amazing. Things I've Never Said. That album, the whole thing, is ridiculously incredible. Stop, don't play music. So she's a really young singer-songwriter from England, which might be partially why I kind of feel like she's very similar to Birdie, but just in her music and writing style is wonderful and lovely and beautiful. But Under Our Feet probably has to be my very favorite song on the album. It's just incredible and wonderful, and I love it. And the lyrics are so well written, and the music is so beautiful. I love everything about it. Foreign Hands. So this is a lovely alternative song. Maybe a wonderful alternative song. I feel like wonderful is somehow more accurate than lovely, because it has a little bit of an edge, and lovely seems like it's soft. But this is about just like taking control of your own life. You know, he's not comfortable putting his world in foreign hands, which is a wonderful sentiment, both politically and emotionally. That was not like a political statement. I'm not... Moving on. Let On by Hearts Like Lions. Again, back to the alternative rock thing. This album is wonderful and amazing, and I love it. You should look it up. I love so many songs on that album. I'm not sure that this is my favorite song on that album, but it's definitely one of my favorite songs on that album. The lyrics are so like, what is the word? Hallucinative? That's not... What is the word I'm looking for? The lyrics paint such a beautiful picture, and also it's just wonderful in every possible conceivable way. Yeah, the imagery, that's what I was looking for. The imagery is so strong in the verbiage and so beautiful. So this one is kind of the opposite of some of the songs we were talking about before. And this one, the music is very like hard and like trying to be edgy, but then the lyrics are so vulnerable and like beautifully poetic. It's wonderful. Okay, Going to Mars by Judah and the Lion. What? Okay. I have words for this. I have too many words. I gotta cut out some of these words. Okay, so the deluxe version of Folk Hop and Roll happened, and let me tell you, wow. Okay, so Judah and the Lion. I've known them for a while. They've been on the periphery of my radar, and I have never been fully sold on them before. I was like, no, I see you. Like, you're good musicians, but I don't like it for me personally. And then, what song was it? The first song I heard off of the deluxe album? Sold me 1,000 billion%. It was amazing. Maybe it was Suit and Jacket. I feel like I've talked about that song before. I don't know. But these new songs on the album, when they revamped the album, have 1,000% sold me. It's amazing. And like, quite honestly, let me tell you a thing that you need in your life. You need like a fake white guy rapping over the top of some banjo. That's a thing that you need, and this will give it to you in a lovely way. Also, the writing is just, like, legitimately wonderful. I think you'll love it. I heard this song, and it reminded me of my baby sister, and I was like, you have to listen to this. And this is my phone. I was like, you have to listen to this. And she was like, huh, how did somebody put my heart into music? This is my personality, but I can hear it. And I was like, I know, right? So I love it because I love my baby sister. And it's like it's like weirdly her exact personality. I don't know how you can do that with music, but they did it. It was wonderful. So thank you, Jude and the Lion, for capturing the essence of my baby sister's soul. That sounded creepy. You did it in a lovely way. Love by Lana Del Rey. So, to be perfectly honest, I've never gotten into Lana Del Rey before. I don't know. Again, it's not that I think that she's a bad artist or that she's not skilled and talented. It just wasn't for me. Until this song. This song is like a throwback soundtrack, maybe like early 90s film sound musically. And it's so wonderful because it's kind of like, the lyrics are kind of like kids these days, youths. But the vintage sound of it brings to the forefront, like it makes very clear that this happens every generation and in every new era. It's always been the older generation being like, these youths, what's their deal? And maybe the shades and the coloration of what that looks like might change a bit from generation to generation, but it's always the same cycle and the same pattern. And so this song is kind of from the point of view of kind of a youth growing into young adulthood and the feeling of that, and a bit of the complications of that, a bit of the irony, a bit of the uncertainty. And it's just lovely. It's so wonderful. Look at these kids with their vintage music coming through satellites while cruising. It's kind of poking a little bit fun, but also, who listens to music that comes through satellites anymore? I don't know. I love it. I love that it's like the vintage throwback, but it's about the rising generation. It's beautiful and wonderful, and I love it so much. I love that it kind of is like, it feels like it's poking fun at ourselves. Am I considered a younger person? Am I part of the rising generation? I'll claim it. I'll pretend like I am. It's poking fun at ourselves, but still acknowledging and making valid our experience. So it's really a wonderful song. Maybe We're Home by Louis Watson. I love this song so much. I'm so obsessed with this song. I'm so obsessed with this entire album. I did an album review. I also did a cover of the song. Don't look up my cover. Look up the real one, because the real song is 5 bajillion million times better than anything else, and it's ridiculously amazing. The writing on this album is unbelievable. It is so amazing. I'll say it right now. I feel like this could easily be top 10 albums of the year. It's incredible. The writing, the level of writing, and the thought and skill that went into crafting this entire album is ridiculous. This might be my favorite song on the album, but that's a very, very tough call because there are some truly, truly, truly amazing things on this album. We will talk about this a lot more. I'll do a vinyl unboxing when it arrives. I ordered it the day that it came out. So when it gets here, we'll talk more about it. Liability by Lorde. I know that you guys have heard this one. This was a really interesting journey for me. So the first time I heard this song, okay, first of all, I wasn't a big fan of Greenlight. I know the point of it was to be unexpected and different, which it was, and it accomplished that. But it kind of, I was like, where are you going with this? Same thing with Liability. When I first heard it, I was like, ooh, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like this. Why? I don't know. And so, like, I kept listening to it more and more, and, like, it made me, I don't know why, it's just, like, this, like, immediate dissonance that almost makes you, like, your skin crawl for a second, but you're like, but this is beautiful. Why don't I like it? And then the longer I sat with it and the longer I listened to it, the more I grew to love it. And like the structure, the piano is such a beautiful progression. It's very, I want to say it's very creative, but then at the same time it's very obvious. But the way that she rolls kind of up and down the scale, not really up and down the scale, like it's not that simple, but the way that she crafts around the scale almost gives you this like dizzying sense of vertigo that's very evocative of like some of the raw emotion. And this song is obviously very vulnerable, and I think that's what made me so uncomfortable. Like, it's like she's like, takes out her broken heart and is like, look at it, look at my broken heart, and you're like, I don't want to see it. It's beautiful, but it just makes you a little bit uncomfortable, because I think we're so used to like, Lorde is like so cool because she's just like so chill and she doesn't care what anybody else thinks. And this song is like kind of like opening her heart to us and letting us see all the guts inside. And it's so beautiful. It's so much more beautiful for that reason. Obviously, people are so like three-dimensional and multifaceted, and it's ridiculous. A lot of times we like get this two-dimensional cartoon character from artists, and I think it's wonderful that she's really allowing us to see another side of her, and it's quite wonderful and quite beautiful. Also, it made me feel better that the name of her album is called Melodrama, because then like I'm like, okay, because as a writer, you don't, if you're trying to write an interesting song or an interesting piece of art, you don't write 100% the truth. It's not about realism. It's about inflating certain things to make them interesting or beautiful. Like if you look at expressionism in art, it's not about how the world would look in a photograph. It's about how the world looks through somebody's eyes. And so it's like an emotional lens. So it made me feel better also that the album was called Melodrama. I was like, oh, okay, she knows that this is over the top. And the vulnerability that gave me pause at first, I grew to understand was beauty. So that was a wonderful journey for me, and I love that song. Also, it has some wonderful little plays rhythmically from the beginning to the end. It has some beautiful little switch-ups, which I love. Black Butterflies and Déjà Vu by the Maine. I love this song so much. This is probably going to be my favorite song on the album. I know that there's only a few singles released, but this song is ridiculous. I am weirdly obsessed with the guitar on this because it's so simple but so effective. And I love that sense of minimalism when you can take such sparse sonic surroundings and then build something so magnificent and gorgeous. It's amazing and wonderful. Also, the lyrics are kind of fun. The entire chorus is 3 notes. But if you're just listening to it and not trying to analyze it, you won't notice. It's not like do 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 do. It's not like that. That's really annoying. But it's just lovely and very catchy and wonderful. But then if you stop to break it down, you're like, whoa, how did they do that? They hardly used any materials and they built this wonderful castle. I love it so much. Tribulation. This song is for real sad. It's heartbreaking a little, but the music is happy. So this is about this dude who's like so much in love, but it's not gonna work. He doesn't know how to love her the way that she needs to be loved. And so the relationship is doomed to fail, but the love is still there. Very sad. It's an interesting song. I feel like I can definitely relate to it from both sides of the equation. From where, at one point where I felt like I loved someone, but I knew I wasn't right for them. And then also when somebody was like, I love you, and I'm like, that's not gonna work. And so it's a very heartbreaking situation from both sides, but this song is quite lovely and quite beautiful, and I love it. Oh Brother by St. Raymond. What a wonderful alternative song this is. So glad that I found this. I don't remember how or where I found it. I feel like Apple Music recommended it to me. It's so good. This is another British artist, and he's wonderful. And this song is kind of about unity and coming together to buoy one another up. I said buoy, boy. I don't know. I want to say boy, but then it sounds like I'm saying like, he was a skater boy. But I don't mean that kind of. It's not B-O-I, it's B-O-U-Y. It's also not B-O-Y. And now I've said too many configurations of letters that I don't even know what language I speak. None of them. Follow My Feet by the Unlikely Candidates. We've already talked about this one. I wrote way too many words about it on my blog. Also, I didn't even get to say a quarter of what I wanted to say. Also, I did a cover of it on this channel. Please don't go look it up. It's absolutely terrible. But the band was so lovely, and they're like, oh, we like what you did. And I'm like, I'm traumatized. I'm mortified that you saw this, but I love you. They are wonderful. This is one of their older songs. They have a new EP that just came out recently. I feel like it's called Bed of Liars. Check that out if you want. I don't love that one quite as much, but that's not fair, only because this song, Follow My Feet, is actually perfect. So you can't fairly compare anything to it. That's just dumb. Hoping by Ex-Ambassadors. I love this song. They posted like a 5-second clip of it before it came out, and I was like, whoa, this is going to be so much piano. And I was excited about it. And then I heard it, and I was like, whoa, this is so much piano. Like, it still surprised me how piano-centric it was in a very good way. It has lots of, like, gospel vibes as well. And it's so beautiful and so inspiring. It's just about, like, this world is a crazy, ridiculous mess, but we still have hope. And it is absolutely wonderful. I really love Ex-Ambassadors, but this song is very different, I feel like, from their stuff that has been released before. But it is no less wonderful. Last we have Brisbane by Heathen Revolt. So this is interesting because I feel like this band also might be punk, but this song is extremely acoustic, so it's very strange. On this album, you have some like actual screaming happening, and then you have like some maybe punk rock, I don't know. And then you have like two songs are like ridiculously acoustic. So it's very diverse as an album. But this song, I love it. It's so catchy and so wonderful, and as a guitarist, I'm just like, yeah, I'm vibing this one. It's lovely and beautiful. By the way, pause. Can we talk about that album cover? Because it's the greatest album cover that ever existed in the whole world. And, ooh, do I have time for a backstory? Random story that has nothing to do with anything. So when I found this song, I was so excited and I wanted to show it to my sister. And I was like, I have to show you the most beautiful thing in the whole world. And she was like, is it a picture of me? And I was like, yes. And then I showed her a picture and it was the album cover. And then she fell over and like died laughing because once upon a time, so my dad, he was in the military, and because of reasons, he still has a gas mask from like the World War II era They've changed them since, I don't know if you guys know, but they've changed them to make them more efficient. The thing is on the side now. It used to be right here. But he has like a World War II / Cold War era gas mask, and it's a real one. And honestly, I remember as a 3-year-old getting lessons on how to properly wear a gas mask. Like if you ever in a situation where you need to put one on, like we all had to like go through training. Anyway, that was just my dad being my dad. So, but one time I was watching this kind of scary movie. I say kind of scary movies because I don't watch actual scary movies. But I was watching like a somewhat scary movie, and the bad guy was like this creepy dude with the gas mask. And so I was watching it in my room, and right when there's this one creepy moment where like the bad guy's at the door, of course, and it's this evil gas mask thing, and I was like, ah, and right then somebody knocked at my door. I just spent like 10 minutes telling you this hilarious story about when my sister was wearing a gas mask, but the video cut out. So I don't want to tell the whole thing again, but I'll just tell you, my sister was wearing a gas mask in order to terrify me, and it was amazing, and it worked so well. But then she was laughing really hard, and there was no filter in the gas mask, so she wasn't actually getting that much oxygen. And then when she started laughing, it was sucked to her face, so she started like suffocating, and then she like fell over because she was laughing so hard, and she couldn't get the mask off. So then when she finally did tear the gas mask off, then her face was all swollen and red, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What's going on? Like, did somebody poison it with anthrax? But it turns out she's allergic to latex, and so she had this latex mask on her face in order to scare me, and then she got this horrible rash all over her face and couldn't breathe, and it was the most hilarious thing that ever happened. That had nothing to do with anything. I just thought you might want to know that story. So, that was my playlist for the month. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you found at least a few songs that you didn't know about that you will like. I'm sorry it was so long and so weird. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post vinyl videos every Friday, and then I post random other supplemental videos as I get time to film them and as I get requests from you guys. So if there's something specific that you'd like to see, please let me know. Give me other feedback. Tell me how your day is going, and just say hey, and I'll say hey back, and we'll be friends. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Bye.